Hey there, I bet it's dawned on you all of a sudden that now that all the advent calendars are wrapping up, you probably have no daily content. Kind of dawned on me too. And then something glorious happened. We have 12 more days of whiskeys for you. So like I said at the top, we actually have something kind of cool coming your way the next 12 days. We're calling it the 12 days of whiskeys. Kind of going on the theme of 12 days of Christmas. But this epiphany, if you're following kind of the shtick there, kind of came to me out of something my wife did that was spectacular. So I'll run that down real quick and then we'll get into the whiskey because that's what you came for. Every year leading up to Christmas, she does something of the 12 days prior to Christmas. Well, this year, she got the amazing idea to reach out to a lot of my whiskey friends and collect some sort of sample they wanted to send of whiskey. Not any other kind of sample. That'd be really weird and not what we're going after here. So I said, wow, I really need to thank her. And then I need to thank all of my whiskey friends. And a lot of them are really close personal friends as well for doing this because it's such an amazing thing. And I thought of no better way to do it, especially since they're all aware that we have this channel, to actually put some of this out here and make it out of content as well. So what she did, just to go a little deeper into it and start getting the whiskey content here, she made these cute little bags and they have the numbers on them. So this is day one, clearly, as you can see. And inside each of them, there's information about what is in the sample if they didn't happen to write it on the sample itself. So you can see this one today is going to be WhistlePig Black Prince, and it's coming from Mike K. So each and every day, I'll probably try to give you a little bit of background as to how I know the person, maybe something special about that person. If there is something that I want to call out, sometimes you leave these things for yourselves, right? But these are all going to be amazing things that I can't wait to share with all of you. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I hate it when it does that. Does that do that to you where it does that little thing? Annoying, right? So this is WhistlePig Boss Hog IV, so the fourth year they did this annual. This is the Black Prince, and those of you not familiar with that, this is a 14-year whiskey coming in at 119.2 proof, and it's finished in Armagnac barrels. So we know that to be French wine, typically, that is fortified, I guess, is the best way to say that. Can't wait to get into it. I've had this once before at a Porta restaurant, probably a long time ago before I was really into whiskey. And just to thank Mike, I mean, you've been a longtime friend. We met through craft beer, and I just can't say enough for thanking you for supporting this. And cheers to you and everyone out there. Can't forget the swirl. We gotta do the swirl, right? It would be silly if I forgot the swirl by myself. Beautiful kind of pear and apple notes on there. There's some nice sweet wood underneath. Getting a little almost pepper coming out of this too. And that sweet wood actually is coming around a little and starting to really meld in with this. This is really beautiful. I mean, it's probably been open for some time now in his bottle. And then, of course, you can imagine we poured it in a smaller format. So let's go down the chimney. The first thing that hits you here is it is proofy at 119.2, but it isn't too much for your palate right off the bat. I get that peppery and some of those baking spices notes, and then it fades into sort of a brown sugar, apple, maybe pear like I got on the nose. And then at the very end, you really get that nice kind of seasoned wood quality to it. Nice medium to heavy coat on the palate. Not a super long finish down and huge hug. This is a very enjoyable pour and very much what I remember. I remember the first time I actually had this on the rocks. I don't know why, it's just whatever bar we were at, that's what they decided to do. And I think now that I'm further along my journey, I really enjoy this neat. I'm gonna take a second sip so I can confirm all that. Yeah, so the second sip kind of confirms a little more, but then what it does for me is it really starts to remind me this is an Armagnac finish, which gives you that kind of wininess to it. And I think that's what was on that first sip I wasn't quite able to place. So it's not heavily, influenced by wine, but I think what I was perceiving before is that pear was really that grape and coming through from whatever that particular grape character was in this Armagnac. For those of you that know anything about Armagnac, there's usually only 4 grapes that typically will constitute what French winemakers will allow to become Armagnac, essentially. So I think that's just one of those. I'm not super familiar with it, so I really don't know that much about it. But Man, this is really enjoyable. I just can't thank Mike enough for providing this to Sarah for me to be able to do this. So I'm gonna take a final sip and we'll see, and then we'll close up. Yeah, it's really kind of confirming that it's kind of still got that other fruit quality to it, but definitely that Armagnac grape quality is really starting to come around as it coats my mouth and gets into it. It's a very enjoyable pour. I don't know how many of these are out in the wild. I mean, they're a limited production to start with. They were technically single barrels, if I recall, but they did multiple single barrels. So there could even be some bottle variants here slightly. Don't know that to be true, but would imagine like just like anything else, single barrel, that could be the case. I'm not going to do a purchase, pour, or pass on all of these simply for the fact that I don't know what's available to everyone, and this is just meant to be more fun and reintroduce some things. There are a lot of things coming down the line in these 12 days that either I've not had or may not even be around a lot of quantities anymore, or were store picks, and you may never be able to potentially get them. But the beautiful thing about this is it just speaks to our whiskey community, to be really upfront with you. These were all things that were handpicked by people that I know that wanted to send this to me for my enjoyment, for your enjoyment, and so they could feel good about sharing. And that's honestly the most beautiful part about this community. And that's the whole point of this 12 days is, you know, it's not about drinking awesome whiskey, but it's about saying, hey, my friend shared this with me. And, you know, as we all know, this community is just all about that. And there's some that aren't probably, you know, we can probably point to those instances and whatnot, but that's the outlier, because if you're really into whiskey and you really enjoy it, then you know that sharing is what this is all about. The memories, the good times. Thank you to Mike K. This was a wonderful way to kick off the 12 days of whiskey. And I'd be remiss, since this is coming out on Christmas, if I didn't say Merry Christmas to those of you that celebrate the holiday. If you celebrate in another way, or if this is just simply a day for you, because we tend to take the day off on a lot of our you know, jobs and stuff around here. It's a Sunday too. And take the day and enjoy what you do, enjoy what you like, have a special pour, make a special memory. You know, we may have just uncovered the tagline for the show for when I do solo. I'd been searching for one, and I think the word special has to come out of there, but have a pour, make a memory. Feels pretty good. I think that's what we're going to go with on this. So if nothing else, I did have an epiphany, actually, and it was a tagline for this show. Cheers.